Morning, peeps. Good morning, everyone. It is super early, boy. It is super early. It's just gone 6:15. I've just finished watching the Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia fight. We'll do a separate video about that one. I was going to go back to bed, but I thought, you know what, fuck it, we're up now. Let's start the day early. So let's start the day off by talking about Lyndon versus Anthony Yarde. Yeah, let's talk about it. Scores on the doors first, people. How did you score this fight? Online, just looking at the interaction on Twitter, I think a lot of people had it to Lyndon Arthur. Either Lyndon Arthur or a draw. Not many people had it to Anthony Yarde, and that's my thought on it as well. I scored the fight a draw. I did. So yeah, that's how I had the fight. Anthony Yarde clearly upset. I've watched a few interviews. I've watched his IFL TV interview, obviously the post-fight interview with BT Sports and another interview with BT Sports. He's clearly upset. He thought he won the fight. And the only reason I can think that, well, look, it was a draw, so it's close. I can understand why he thought he won it. But the only reason I really think he won the fight is that I had him winning the last 3 rounds, and obviously he hurt Lyndon Arthur in the last round. So obviously that's going to be in the forefront of his mind. He's probably thinking, you know, I've closed out the show. He's probably not remembering the work he didn't do in the opening rounds. He didn't do much at all. Like I had Lyndon Arthur, for example, win the first 3 or 4 rounds. So I think he's forgetting that, and he's only remembering the second half of the fight where he did come on strong. But the first half of the fight, I don't like using the term he threw it away. I'd rather say Lyndon Arthur done better work, right? I think we sometimes do that. When a favourite loses the opening rounds, we like to say he threw the rounds away. It wasn't that. Lyndon Arthur controlled the opening rounds with his jab, and he almost made, I think, Anthony Yarde very tentative because Anthony Yarde didn't know what to do with that jab. That's what I think anyway. Again, everyone has their own opinions and different opinions on it. I also think he's very upset because he thought he was way above the level of a Lyndon Arthur, right? I mean, let's be honest, he thinks he's world level, right? I think Tunde thinks he's world level. So the idea that he's even going to a draw or a close fight with Lyndon Arthur, I think irks him. I think he thinks he's above British level, European level, and I think he thinks he's fringe or if not fringe, world level already. He's clearly not that. And I think that's probably why he's uber pissed off. He started slow. He was being outboxed. Look, it was a shit fight. Let's be honest. It wasn't the best fight in the world. There was a lot of talk about a rematch. I think he'll get the job done in the rematch. I think he's the better of the two. But there's so much to work on with Anthony Yarde, and there shouldn't be this much to work on now. But for me, he still just makes silly mistakes. Watching the fight, I think I still don't like that kind of the guard he has. I don't like that. I don't like the idea that he doesn't know how to slip jabs properly. I don't like the idea that he doesn't throw his jab enough. Threw it a bit in this fight, but I still think it's a punch he needs to work on. Like, a jab is so key. It's so key. We've seen it in the Joe Joyce versus Dubois fight. We saw it when Anthony Yarde fought Kovalev. Like, I still can't believe he hasn't worked on that punch enough. Yeah, it was disappointing from Yarde. But again, I want to say it was better from Lyndon Arthur. Also, it looked to me, and then look, Lyndon Arthur said after the fight that his hand was okay, but I think he's lying. Lyndon Arthur's hand, his right hand, he's definitely had a problem with that right hand. He seems like a humble guy and he won't say it, but there was definitely a problem. In the BT Sports interview after, he said no, he didn't throw it just because he knew by throwing it, Anthony Yarde would counter, which makes sense. But nah, I'm not having that. He didn't throw it because there was a problem. And I think that's just the kind of guy he is where he won't admit it. He won't admit that was a problem, but I think he had a problem with his right hand in the fight. And I think the biggest problem is that it didn't seem as though Tunde and Anthony knew he had a problem until like the 7th or 8th round. I think I heard Tunde in the corner said something about Lyndon Arthur's right hand in like the 7th or 8th. That's not good corner work. You've got to see that early and capitalize on it. And then it seemed to me when Anthony knew, or Tunde told him, and Anthony knew that there was a problem with that right hand, That's when Anthony became aggressive, knowing, okay, Lyndon's not going to throw the right hand, so we can start working. Again, that's what I saw. And to me, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. You've got to see those things early. I can get how you can get very amped up in the corner and you can get, you're looking for other things, but you've got to notice when the guy you're fighting, I knew it from the first minute that he's not throwing. So I don't know, man. They got to look at things like that. I've seen a lot of people also talk about the relationship between Tunde and Anthony, and that Tunde isn't good enough for Anthony, or maybe Anthony should switch up trainers. Look, it's a difficult one for me to talk about because I do know Tunde. I know him personally, but it's a short career. It's a short career, and if Anthony decides to move on, then hey, it's a decision that he needs to make, because there are things now that, again, I expect Anthony to be doing better. I do. I think you've got a lot in Anthony. You've got a guy that is a physical specimen. You've got a guy that has punch power, has good speed. For a guy his size, has good feet, doesn't cut off the ring well at all, likes to follow people around. So those are things that we can work on. But in terms of the very basics, he's got that in abundance. Plus, he's very confident, which is a big thing in boxing. He's very confident, very arrogant. Can't take that away from him. But there should be other things now being added to the Anthony Yarde repertoire that I'm not seeing yet. That honestly, I'm not seeing at all. So yeah, I had the fight a draw, people. There will be a rematch. Frank has said that. I think Lyndon Arthur has said that as well. Again, I think Lyndon Arthur, his hand, the right hand, was definitely hurt, which for me means, look, if Lyndon Arthur can have two hands against Anthony, it's not a foregone conclusion, the rematch. It's not a foregone conclusion at all. Anthony needs to work, man. How old is Anthony? 1 second. 29. Okay. He's still got time. But he needs to work. This is a bad loss, It's a bad loss. Because again, he thinks he's above this. And I have to admit, I thought he was above this as well. In terms of sort of the British fighters in this country in terms of the British fighters that I thought could beat him, I only thought Boatsi and Callum Johnson, and even those I thought were very, very close. I never thought that he would get beaten by Lyndon Arthur. I never did. I thought Lyndon Arthur was good, and I'd done a video saying that Lyndon Arthur's is a good fighter. I talked about his amateur record, and you could see it, right? With the jab, he knows how to move, knows how to hold and smother. And if he did have one hand, then he's very good. He's very, very good, but disappointing. I want to hear more from Tunde in the corner. Again, I'm a Tunde fan just because I know the struggles to get to where he's got to. Not necessarily as a trainer, but where he's got to, I respect. But we need to hear more in the corner. We need to hear better advice in the corner. Yeah. Why did Anthony start so late in this fight? It was almost, that late start I find quite arrogant and cocky. So it's not because I think he started late and arrogant, because it's almost like he's playing with Lyndon, and then he realized, shit, this isn't going the way I thought it was going to go. Then, okay, now we've got to move. Too late. So look, we'll see what happens in the rematch. But credit to Lyndon Arthur, stays unbeaten. And now going into the rematch, Lyndon Arthur will think, okay, you're good, but you're not that good. You're not as good as I thought you were. So it'll be interesting. And look, if he loses the rematch, boy, oh boy. But what did you guys make of the fight? How did you score it? Again, I had it a draw. If anyone had it Anthony Yarde's way and your name's not Ian John Lewis, please let me know. Ian John Lewis scored this fight 117-111. $117-111. Can someone make any sense of that, please? Look, the rounds were close, but come on. 117-111 is an embarrassment. But again, that's Ian John Lewis, so I'm not surprised. Peace.